Hello, BookTube. Well, it's a bleak and barren Friday. It's a federal holiday here in America. It's Veterans Day. Uh, and so there's no mail. Late yesterday, later much than usual, well after dark, uh, there was a doorbell ring, and I went, and it was Tom from Tipperary, my mail truck driver, and he had a big stack of packages that he was holding on to, a big smile on his face, because he has the day off. and it came so late, and I was already enmeshed in other things that I didn't bother to open it. I thought I would just wait. I'd left to put it on the floor and waited until today so I'd have something to do. Because I'm still not 100% feeling uh, this escape procedure of just smiling and concentrating on the small term. So I these help. As Lisa from Paperbit says, book mail hauls are my jam. So I thought we'd do this again. I thought we'd go through more books, and we'll see if I can make more videos after that. I will. We'll start with this one. It's a considerably bigger mail haul today than it was yesterday. Okay. All right. The first one is You Say to Brick, The Life of Louis Kahn. This is by Wendy Lesser, and he's a great architect. I did not know there was a new biography. Louis Kahn, more than any other 20th century architect of his stature, was a public architect. He did not design corporate skyscrapers or fancy hotels or expensive condos. His greatest works were libraries, government centers, houses of worship, art museums, and other structures that serve the public good. So it feels especially appropriate and heartening to see a growing interest in his work among the general audience of the past decade. Huh. Okay. So this is a biography of Louis Kahn. Interesting. And this comes out in March. Okay. All right. Good. No better way for me to start than with one of 2017's biographies. The biographies in 2016 were astoundingly good. It was an astoundingly good year for biographies. So it's nice to hope that 2017 will be just the same. Let's see what we have here. Oh, okay. All right, very good. All right, we're 2 for 2. This is due in a week, and I've already talked about this. This is a finished copy of the Selected Poems of Paul Muldoon. Very nice looking thing. You've got cows and a highway, so you've got the bucolic and the modern, and the frames disjoint everything just a little. So it's not just the juxtaposition of bucolic and modern; it's also all disjointed anyway, and that's very nice. That's very apt. And a few of you emailed me about Paul Muldoon. I confess I am no authority about contemporary poetry. As I've said many times on this channel, my taste in poetry stopped really with Longfellow. But I do still read it. The major ones, the major poets, I try to read. I stress that when I talk major, I do not mean people like Billy Collins. I mean, I try my hardest. It's not very. I'm not very good at it, but Paul Muldoon is impressive. All right. Well, this is another late November release. This is the finished copy of Chris Wickham's Medieval Europe, with a multicolored painting on the cover. You know, when I saw this originally, I wondered what it was, and I still do, because you've got all these. It's very nice, actually. If you look at it, you've got swans on the river, and you've got all these different classes of people. What is this, though? Oh, son of a gun! It's a 1338 painting of Venice, hence the canal. Oh, look at that! Even without knowing it, Venice attracted me. Okay, so this is a finished copy. This is just what it says on the cover. I read the Galley and very much liked it. So This is a perfect example. It's hopeless of me, but even though I've read The Galley for something called Medieval Europe, I will still read the finished copy. Can't help it. It's just the thrill of getting books in the mail. That's all. Uh, so what have we got here? Oh my! Oh goodness gracious! This is In Calabria by Peter S. Beagle. This from the beloved author of The Last Unicorn comes a new exquisitely told unicorn fable. A unicorn fable. 5 different ways in which I'm not the right reader for that. Isn't that interesting? Okay, this comes out in February. His book, The Last Unicorn, is great. Also, A Fine and Private Place is also great. Wonderful. Tiny little thing. It won't take but a minute. And then we've got 2 boxes. I have a feeling I know what the second of these 2 boxes is. I thought I'd open this one first. Boxes are always good. Could be something really big, very, very big and nice. Yes, this is big and nice. What is this? Oh, okay. This is Irwin Gowan, the President and the Apprentice. That's a perfect picture of the relationship there. Oh, very nice. Okay, so this is out already. This is the paperback edition of this. It came out last year. Ordinarily, I mean, this is the relationship between President Eisenhower and Vice President Nixon, and there's a complicated relationship full of layers of hatred that has been papered over time with tons and tons of lying. And I've noticed that the politic lying that started at the time, just exactly the same kind of lying that you've seen this week with President Obama sitting in the White House with a man who spent 4 years and close to $1 million trying to prove that a black man couldn't be president, that he had to be born in Africa, that he's a secret Muslim agent who kept doing it year after year after year, even in the face of evidence. Said, no, I don't believe it. When those 2 men sat, now common sense, I mean, ordinary human common sense tells you those 2 men hate each other. They viscerally hate each other. They sat in a room and lied for the cameras, and will probably lie in their memoirs as well. And Eisenhower and Nixon both started lying right away. And I always worry with something like that because those lies, of course, they serve a purpose. They serve a healing purpose. But nevertheless, historians must not ever believe that. The whole job of a historian is not to believe that. When you have somebody like John Meacham who decides he's going to write a biography of George Herbert Walker Bush or Ronald Reagan, you get somebody who write a modern biography of somebody like this, and they only go on the published memoirs of the people involved. Who have every reason to lie, both good reason and bad, but who have no reason to tell the truth. So if you're relying on their memoirs as if they were saying, well, here's what happened. And I read and reviewed this book, and I was a little worried throughout that the author does a little too much accepting of the lies that Eisenhower and Nixon started telling right away. They hated each other, and there's no point in papering that over. But of course, it's okay. All right. Well, the first thing I do when I get something like this in the mail, a paperback of a book that I read and reviewed, is to look for blurbs. I know it's terrible, but the first thing you do, if you're a book critic, the first thing you do, though, if you ever meet a book critic other than me, and they tell you that they don't, they're fibbing. The first thing you do is look for your own blurb. Some blurb from you. But this has things, from Newt Gingrich and whatnot, so it's not going to have any blurb from me. But I will, if I remember to do it, I will put my review down below so that you can link to it and read it. And then another thing that happens if you're a prolific book reviewer is that you will sometimes look for your blurb in order to remember where you reviewed the book. I confess that has happened to me. But in this case, it's not a question because they didn't use it. And then there's this. I have a feeling I know what this is. I think it comes from one of you, and I think it is the mother of all gifts. Let's see if I'm right. A card. Take a look at this book, too. This ought to shut me up for a while. What this is a box of Penguin Classics. Let's go through them, shall we? First, there is a Penguin Classic Deluxe Edition of The Quiet American by Graham Greene. Beautiful thing, with deckled edges and flaps and everything. Next, a Penguin Classic Deluxe Edition of Cold Comfort Farm by Stella Gibbons. With deckled edges and the flaps, and best of all, Roz Chast cartoons that are designed, I think, by the people at Penguin to underscore the raucous, wry humor of Cold Comfort Farm. Then, Letters of a Voyager by Georges Sand. Shall we? Viewed herself as fated to be a voyageur et artiste, adopting a favorite romantic symbol in which journeys are undertaken throughout life everywhere, on land and sea, in spirit and in dreams. By 1834-36, when these 12 letters were published as articles, Sand's controversial, amusing persona, the outspoken, somewhat undersized young man dressed up in cotton smock and trousers, was already firmly established. Here we find her in various disguises, exploring Venice, sketching not wholly complimentary portrait of her lover, arguing Republican politics on holiday with Liszt in Switzerland, commenting on art and music and religion, in discussing marriage and relations between men and women, fighting to put some backbone into her sex. Penguin Classic I do not have any of these. Let's keep going. Then we have Anthony Hope, The Prisoner of Zender, and Rupert of Hentzau. And unless I miss my guess, that is Errol Flynn on the cover. It's oh no, even better, Douglas Fairbanks Jr. from The Prisoner of Zender. Anthony Hope is now, aside from reprint classics like Penguin, he is now completely forgotten. A great adventure novel writer. Next one is Cannery Row by John Steinbeck. That lovely painting on the cover. And then The Custom of the Country by Edith Wharton. I have the big Penguin Classic Deluxe Edition collecting a few Edith Whartons with the odious introductory essay by Jonathan Franzen, in which he says that, among other odious, flat-footed, stupid things, he says that she was probably spurred on to become the 20th century's greatest novelist by the fact that she was a little plain. But I do not have the simple black-spined Penguin Classic Custom of the Country. Until now. Ethan Frome by Edith Wharton. Her incredibly depressing novella, here with a bleak winterscape on the cover. Another Graham Greene, The Comedians, which he underrated, called it a failure, but if I remember correctly, when I read it, I liked it. We shall see. Then Balzac, Eugenie Grandet. It's a Balzac novel and a Penguin Classic that I do not have, until now. And then Sherwood Anderson's Winesburg, Ohio, with, is this a Grant Wood cover? No, Gail Stockwell. But I have not read Winesburg, Ohio in probably 40 years. And now I have a Penguin Classic that is in absolutely mint condition, like it was made yesterday. So perfect opportunity to read it. And last but not least, the Diary of Mary Chestnut, the traitress and Southerner who kept a diary throughout her experiences in the American Civil War. Documenting the period between 1861 and 1865, Mary Chestnut's diary is widely considered to be one of the most compelling personal narratives of the Civil War. As the daughter of a wealthy plantation owner and the wife of an aide to the Confederate President Jefferson Davis, Chestnut was well acquainted with the Confederacy's prominent players and, from the very first shots at Charleston, South Carolina, diligently recorded her impressions of the conflict's most significant moments. Mary Chestnut's diary is a very interesting reading. There she is on the cover, with stars around her and a winsome look on her face that would have changed considerably about a minute after she was hanged by the neck from the tallest branch of the tallest tree, which is what should have happened to her, but it didn't. But nevertheless, she wrote a literary classic, and in a way, and it's fascinating reading. And I had the big, some of you will have seen it, the Mary Chestnut's Diary. There's a big white trade paperback, forget the publisher, from eons ago. And I had that. Everybody bought that. Was a New York Times bestseller. Everybody bought that. But I've never had a Penguin Classic until now. I had it once upon a time. Came through my hands and back out again. And now I have it again, and I want to keep it now. And I don't know if you can see. You can see behind there, right there. I had a feeling these books were coming. The person who sent them to me is extremely generous. I can't thank you enough. And announced it ahead of time. I don't know if you can make that out. I cleared off that shelf right where my finger is. I cleared off most of it in order to put all these there, because Project Penguin demands that whole bookcase be filled with penguins. And this is practically a whole shelf all by itself. So I can't think of a stronger note on which to end the video, so I'll shuffle off right now. Thank you, BookTube, and thank you, especially one of you. Oh my, I shall be emailing. Oh my. So long, BookTube. I'll see you soon.